Cucumber and Tomato at the zoo. Cucumber and Tomato stood outside the zoo with their tickets in hand. "Wow, what a big sign," said Cucumber. "Welcome to the zoo. It feels almost like a whole adventure land." "Come on, we don't have time to wait," Tomato called eagerly. They held their tickets tightly and walked together towards the gates. At once they were greeted by sounds from all directions. Birds chirping, monkeys calling, and lions roaring in the distance. "Do you hear that?" asked Cucumber, pricking up his ears. They followed the sound and came to an island where the monkeys lived. The monkeys jumped between the trees and bounced up and down, splashing the water around the island. "Look at that one, hopping like a bouncing ball," laughed Tomato. Cucumber smiled. They really look like little circus performers. Suddenly, some monkeys started throwing bananas around the island. "Wow, good thing we're not in there," Cucumber giggled. Tomato waved, and several monkeys waved back with cheerful sounds. Farther away, they heard a mighty roar. "Wow, what was that?" said Tomato, looking around. "It must be the lions," whispered Cucumber. They came to a big enclosure where a lion was pacing back and forth. "Wow, it's much bigger than I thought," said Cucumber with wide eyes. The lion stopped, lifted its head, and gave out a deep roar. Echoed all over the zoo. Cucumber stood beside and tried to copy it. "Roar!" Tomato laughed so hard he almost lost his balance. That sounded more like a friendly kitten. The lion yawned wide and then lay down in the shade. "Shall we go to the elephants now?" asked Tomato. They stopped in front of a big map of the zoo and tried to find the way. If we go past the pond and then turn right, we'll get there," said Cucumber, pointing with his finger. They heard trumpeting sounds from far away. Soon they saw a big elephant. It dipped its trunk into a water trough, sucked up water, and splash, sprayed it over its own back. "Wow, it's like a shower," laughed Cucumber. The elephant swung its trunk in the air as if it was waving at them. "Hello there," Tomato called and waved back. On the way further, Cucumber and Tomato stopped at the pond. 3 little ducks were swimming around in circles. "Look, they're following each other in a line," said Cucumber. "I wonder if they're playing a game of tag," Tomato giggled. Around the next corner, the giraffes were waiting. They were so tall that their heads almost disappeared into the treetops. "Look, they're eating leaves way up there," said Tomato. Cucumber and Tomato stretched themselves, trying to grow taller. But of course, they didn't even come close. One giraffe bent down its long head and sniffed them curiously several times. "Hello there, long friend," said Cucumber and laughed. After all that walking, they needed a break. They bought an ice cream each, a strawberry one for Tomato and a pear one for Cucumber. This tastes like summer," said Tomato with satisfied eyes. "And mine tastes almost like myself," Cucumber laughed. Just then a little bird flew by and tried to peck at Tomato's ice cream. "Hey, this is my ice cream, little bird," he laughed, holding it away. The sun slowly began to set as Cucumber and Tomato kept walking. The sky turned pink and orange, and they stopped at a hill where they could see the whole zoo. First, they passed the monkeys' island. The monkeys had already fallen asleep in their trees. Then they stopped at the lion, who was curled up, sleeping soundly. Then they went to the elephants and saw 2 elephants lying down in the evening light, closing their eyes. "Everything has become so calm," whispered Tomato. "Yes, almost like the whole zoo is saying goodnight." At last, they came to the exit. They stood for a moment, looking back at the zoo. "I already miss it," said Cucumber. "Do you think we can come back here again someday?" asked Tomato. "Of course we must," replied Cucumber with a smile, as they happily walked home together.